All right, what's going on, everybody? You are watching What Cam's Rockin', and this video today is going to be about something very near and dear to my heart. When I started this channel, it was something that I knew had to be on the list, and with it being rivalry week between Miami and Florida State, I figured now would be a really good time to talk about that. As you can tell by what I have on and by these hats to my sides, you can see which side of that rivalry I fall on, and we're going to do a little unboxing and explanation as to how and why I am a Miami Hurricane fan. So, without further ado, let's get into the unboxing part, and then we'll go into the story part. So, what I'm wearing right now is Miami stuff from Nike. I believe it was 2 years ago. I think this is the second or third season that Miami has switched over from Nike to Adidas. And so I thought it was time to kind of refresh my Miami wardrobe. So we got some shoes to show. As you can see, I kind of was a little bit anxious and decided to open these up before. I couldn't wait to see what they look like. So we've got Miami Hurricane colored basketball Ultra Boost. I believe they are the Crazy Light Ultra Boost 2s in Miami Hurricane colorway. So I got these from eBay, really good deal. I really wanted to get the Crazy Lights from this year in the Miami Hurricane colors, but it was like, I think they were $60, and the other ones were like $110. So maybe down the line, but just for budget wise, they get the job done. I did slip my foot into these bad boys, very comfortable. The Miami shoes that I have now are by Nike. They're probably, good 10 years old now. They were a gift given to me, probably one of the most thoughtful and best gifts I've ever received, but they're personalized Miami Hurricane Nike shoes with Miami Hurricanes across the back and my favorite number 34 on the shoes. But I'm excited to rock these out. Put those back in there. Side. All right, and I was able to hold off on unboxing the apparel that I got, and I found a really cool seller on eBay. I don't think any one of these pieces was more than like $15, so let's just average $15 times each piece. So it was pretty good deal. We'll see what the quality's like though. So I'm pretty sure they're not authentic, but it gets the job done. So a baggie of goodies. Let's see here. Bam. Miami Hurricane shorts here. Got the U on the side. I believe Adidas embroidery right there, so we can be up to date and current. It has an Adidas tag on it. Again, I don't know if it's real or not. I don't really care, but they get the job done. I wish they were more of a training short as opposed to a basketball short. These are a little bit long for doing field work. I would prefer to do some field work on these bad boys in these, but I can still do that, but it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome than what I want. See, we've got okay, Miami Hurricanes polo shirt for work for Saturdays. I work at Costco, so when we open up, I can change into this for my work day. And we got the Miami Hurricane logo there. We got the Adidas there. The material is very jersey-esque. It's very it's almost like an actual jersey. It feels like it's breathable. It has the mesh kind of feel to it. The closure of the arm like a jersey. So I'm pretty pleased with this. It has the Adidas thing on there. It says $67 on the tag, but again, I think I paid $15.99 for it, so pretty happy with that. so far, I mean, I think I will probably be buying from this seller again. Next. A little bit short on the jersey here. It's a large. That's kind of shorter than what I was hoping for, but it looks wide enough. Maybe this will just be for in the house. We've got, again, the nice little details, Hurricane stitching there, Adidas logo, and that stitched logo. We've got the screen print numbering. So 15, I'm guessing this Brad Kaya's number. Very thick screen print here, not cheap at all. Got the screen print Miami in the back there. Nice jersey. Again, I think it might be a little bit short for wearing out and about, but for Saturday afternoons on the couch, it will get the job done. And lastly, one more jersey. Same thing, just in the white colorway. I wanted to see what the quality was going to be like before I went all out and got the orange one, but I think now that I see that I like these, I'll probably will get an orange one, maybe in an XL. Again, we got the Hurricane tag stitched up top here. We got the screen print U on the back. Thick, good quality screen print details. And a nice quality mesh here. Adidas tag. It all looks pretty legit. I don't know if it is or isn't. You know how the fake makers are doing a really good job these days, but I am very pleased with what I have here, so I'm ready for the rest of the season for my Hurricane fandom. Let's go Canes. Beat Florida State. So that will end the unboxing portion of this video, and let's get to the story part. So we'll go back to a young Cameron a la, let's say 2001. Yeah, 2001. So I think my sophomore year in high school. That's kind of when I started paying attention to college football. I've always been a fan of the NFL and football, but I never really paid attention. So like, I've been a 49er fan forever. That was what I was born into. It's just, oh, football's on, okay, the Niner game. That's just, what I did. Of course, I knew Jerry Rice, Steve Young, all those guys, whatever, but I never really got too much into the differences between players and the nuance of the game and stuff like that, and how good a good player was and what made a good player good. So in high school, sophomore year, I started paying attention to college, just kind of on the periphery, and that was because Michael Vick was in his like Heisman-esque time. So it's like, oh, it's a black quarterback who is really good. Huh, what's this about? Of course, he played for Virginia Tech, one of the other rivals of Miami. That kind of opened the door to me thinking about college football as a thing. For whatever reason, I never really cared about college football before then. I do remember watching part of the, I want to say 2000 national championship game against it was Oklahoma and Penn State. And that was when, what's his name? I can't remember the dude's name, but he went to Penn State and he was a good running back for the Chiefs for at least his first contract. Not Derek Johnson, that's the linebacker, but anyway, he was in a video with Fantasia Barrino, but they played in the snow, and that was that's my first college football memory. So then that whole thing with Mike Vick happened, and I think he got hurt, and I remember them saying, oh, he's probably out of the Heisman race because he missed some game or something like that because he was nicked up. So I kind of forgot it for that year. So then the next year, I started watching again, and what I remember watching was a lot of Nebraska and a lot of Miami. So Nebraska had, now that I'm on the spot, I can't remember his name, but he was number 7 quarterback, couldn't throw for a lick, but he ran that option like no other. So I kind of became a fan of the option game. Um, and then when because I live in California, I live in Sacramento, California, so I guess it was just sort of proximity that they showed us the Nebraska game more than I saw the Miami game. Um, but when they got to the national championship, they played against Miami, and the way Miami just destroyed them. Uh, they just looked like they were having fun. They were out there to hit. They were so fast. They just did it with style, right? And that kind of made me start noticing the difference between a good team and a great team. Like, these guys are just a step above. And why would you not want to be the best? If you're out there doing it, I was playing high school football as an offensive and defensive lineman, but not a skilled position player. But even their non-skilled position players were stars in my mind. Like, they had, Bryant McKinney, who was like a Heisman finalist, and that's a big offensive lineman. So why can't I be like that? Just swagger. Never really heard of that word before, but they had it. So after that year, I started looking actively for Miami Hurricane football games. So when I started watching and paying attention, it was Ken Dorsey at quarterback, Andre Johnson at wide receiver, Willis McGahee at the running back, my favorite player of all time, Kellen Winslow at tight end. You had Sean Taylor roving the back. You had Antrell Roll hitting people. You had Jonathan Vilma hitting people. John Beason. Actually, Beason might not have been. He might have came after that, but he was very close to that time. But it was just ridiculous. Vince Wilfork in the middle, on the defensive line, just stars left and right. So it, I was just enthralled and captivated, and I wanted to be that. Like, whatever it is they're doing, whatever they do, I want to do that. In my head, that was a great idea. In practice, I wasn't ready or willing to do those things and didn't even know how to figure out what it was they were doing. So I kind of still never really got into the best of shape. I wanted to be more, but didn't have the drive or access, I guess, to put that into effect. I put posters up, not posters, but I printed out on 8 by 11 paper a picture of Kellen Winslow at practice, like catching a football, just like looking supremely focused and just doing it. And so I was like, man, I want to have that kind of focus and that kind of drive to do what he does, because he was revolutionary at the time. Say what you will about him now, but if you take him from a football sense, the skill set that he has is what, I guess Travis Kelce, not even Gronk, but Travis Kelce would probably be the best analogy of who's playing right now that reminds me of Kellen Winslow. Not necessarily the best blocker, but willing to get down and dirty, had an attitude, and could back it up. And that was Kellen Winslow. I won't say he's the best Hurricane. He's in my top 5 for sure. I'd probably have to say R.I.P. Sean Taylor, probably my favorite, or probably the best Hurricane that I saw while I was watching. After deciding that Miami was going to be my team, I went back and watched some of their greater plays, players, seasons, and stuff like that. Of course, watching the U and the U Part 2 and Catholics vs. Convicts sort of gave more context to that, but just going back to see the rich tradition of excellence, of falling and rising that Miami embodied, I was all about all of that. So that's how I became a Miami Hurricane fan, living in Sacramento, California, when most of the people here are Oregon fans or Cal or Stanford or USC. I consider them to be bandwagon fans because you never really saw that until Chip Kelly became the head coach. I remember Oregon, and I remember liking them a little bit, because they had Ontario Smith, who is from Sacramento, and so that kind of opened the door for me to watch them. Green is my favorite color, so I like their uniforms. Back then, they didn't have that like prominent yellow and all those crazy highlight colors. It was just kind of usually a green and white, or green and black, or green, black, and just a little bit of yellow. Back when Mike Bellotti was the head coach, and they had I forget what the quarterback's name is. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff. I just kind of am doing this off the cuff and from my heart, so I'm forgetting some of the names now. But I can't remember his name, but he played for the Lions for a while, and he was on the cover of NCAA football. I remember that. But yeah, Oregon was a good team back then, and I had respect for them. To me now, they're sort of a soft patty cake gimmick team, but that's neither here nor there. Now that I'm still a Miami Hurricane fan, and we've gone through, the sanctions, we've gone through no bowl games, and being a underdog and almost a laughing stock of the ACC, changing from the Big East to the ACC, losing to rivals, getting stomped on by Florida State. I call myself a full-fledged, complete Miami Hurricane fan, because I might have came into fandom when they were good, and that's what got me the exposure. But I've been there through these last couple downs, and we've been down. So if we're good again, we come back to prominence. I don't know if we'll ever be like Alabama is right now, but Alabama right now is what Miami was in the early 2000s. So I feel like they're copycatting us. We were the first just beat them down team, and always will be. So yeah, I remember being in college, and Miami Florida State week was just dominated by the sports TV channels. Like, so ESPN, every day of the week leading up to the game would have specials and interviews with former players talking about how important the rivalry was, how big the rivalry was. And now you don't even hardly know about it. They don't even televise it on the West Coast. It's not even a national spotlight game. Either both teams have been down, or Miami has been down. Florida State has won a national championship since we've been bad, but it's not like it used to be. I want it to get back to what it was. I still think it's the best rivalry there is, not just because of the skill of the players in the game, but because of the ability, the attitude, the fun, the hits that happen in that game. It's like you're fighting for a state, because everybody knows that whoever wins that game is going to have the upper hand on getting the best players to come to them in the following year. You know what I mean? That's bragging rights, and that's a recruiting point. There's the USC, UCLA, fine and dandy, Ohio State, Penn State, okay, fine and dandy, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas, all that good stuff. But Miami, Florida State, those have been the best ones. I've watched those other games, and it's just nothing can compare. Catholics versus convicts, that's not even just about football. That goes into, socioeconomic, religious beliefs and whatnot. I'm not going to get into any of that here, but they stand for something, they mean something. Not everything is good, but it just builds into the legend and the pageantry that is Miami. I hope that they get back to what they were, and I just wish them all the luck in the world and best success going forward. I'm going to be a fan forever, no matter what. That's my team. If anybody has anything they'd like to say about their team, about Miami, about whoever you're a fan of, talk about how you became a fan. Maybe you're a fan of a team that you wouldn't traditionally be expected to be a fan of because of where you live or where you grew up. Let me know in the comments. You can get a hold of me, again, in the comments, on Instagram at CameronR34, or Twitter at Camrock34. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for letting me pour my heart out to you about my love of the Miami Hurricanes. yeah, have a great day, and thanks for rocking with me.